When did pretending to be your dad go too far? My dad's this calm, wise guy who everyone comes to for advice. Deep voice, thoughtful pauses, always knows what to say. I'm just his chaotic 19-year-old son who can barely decide what cereal to eat. But online, different story. It started innocent enough. Dad was swamped with work and kept getting emails from his old college buddies asking for life advice. He'd groan and say he'd respond later, but later never came. So I started answering them. Just simple stuff at first. His work buddy Dave emailed asking about relationship problems. Should I propose or wait? I channeled my dad's wisdom. Dave, communication is the foundation. Have you talked to her about your future together? Don't rush the decision, but don't let fear hold you back either. Dave replied, Mark, you always know exactly what to say. Thank you. His college friend Jim asking about career changes. I hate my job, but I've got a mortgage. I wrote back, Jim, security matters, but so does happiness. Can you transition gradually? Maybe start building skills in your spare time before making the leap. The responses kept coming, and they all started the same way. Your dad gives the best advice. He's so wise. How does he always know? I got addicted to it. The validation was incredible. These grown men with mortgages and careers hanging on every word I wrote. Me, a kid who once got lost in his own neighborhood. My dad's reputation grew. His friends started calling him the Oracle in their group chat. They'd screenshot his responses and share them with other people. The problem was, I started believing my own hype, began giving this same wisdom to my actual friends. My roommate Jake was having girlfriend problems. I told him, give her space to realize what she's lost. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. She dumped him 2 days later and started dating his best friend. My friend Marcus was stressed about exams. I said, true knowledge comes from within, not textbooks. Trust your instincts. He failed his chemistry final and lost his scholarship, but I kept going. The emails kept coming, and I kept answering them. Investment advice, parenting tips, marriage counseling. I was dispensing wisdom I'd never earned to people twice my age. Dad never caught on. He'd just nod when people thanked him for his email responses and assume he'd forgotten sending them. Then yesterday happened. My dad got a call from his brother, my Uncle Tom. I could hear Tom crying through the phone. Mark, I wanted to thank you again. That advice you gave me about Mom's funeral arrangements was perfect. You said to focus on celebrating her life, not mourning her death. It helped me get through the whole service. My dad went completely still. Tom, I'm sorry, but I don't remember sending that advice. Your email last week about grief being love with nowhere to go, but celebration being love finding its way back to joy? Dad looked confused. I never wrote that. My stomach dropped. I remembered that email. Tom had written asking how to handle speaking at my grandmother's funeral. I'd spent an hour crafting what I thought was beautiful advice about honoring her memory. That's when I realized I'd been giving grief counseling to my own uncle about my grandmother's death, a woman I barely knew because I'd been too busy pretending to be wise to actually visit her. The worst part? Uncle Tom's voice broke as he continued. Mark, that email saved me. I was falling apart and your words gave me strength. I don't know what I would have done without your guidance. I sat there listening to my uncle thank my dad for wisdom that came from me, a kid who'd never experienced real loss, giving advice about grief I'd never felt, to a man burying his mother. Dad hung up and looked at me. That's strange. I really don't remember writing anything like that. I opened my mouth to confess, but the words wouldn't come. How do you tell your father that you've been impersonating him to his grieving brother? How do you explain that his reputation for wisdom is built on your pretentious nonsense? So I just nodded and said, yeah, that is weird. But now every email feels different. Every thank you feels stolen. Every piece of advice feels like a lie. Because the truth is, I'm not wise. I'm just a kid with a keyboard pretending to be someone worth listening to. And somewhere out there, Uncle Tom is planning his mother's celebration of life based on advice from someone who couldn't even be bothered to show up for Christmas dinner.